Welcome to Defcon 3. I'm KT McFarland. Iraqi forces are upping their fight against ISIS in western Iraq as they try to force the terror group from a large portion of the country. But as Baghdad fights the Islamic State in that region, what about the Kurds to the north, who have been fighting ISIS head-on for several years? Joining us with perspective is Noreldin Wisy. He's the founder and general manager of Kurdistan 24. It's a news network based in Iraqi Kurdistan. So thank you for joining us, Mr. Wisy. You know, we've all watched Ramadi and the battle for Ramadi, and the Iraqi army seems to have beaten back ISIS in Ramadi. Were the Kurds participating in that at all?
Not at all. Yes, Iraqi army indeed they gained some, advanced in some areas. They control some areas, but they are not until now in full control of Ramadi. And but Peshmerga forces are not participating in Ramadi. They are in the areas that is mostly populated by Kurdish areas. So, but meantime, yes, Iraqi Kurdish forces, Peshmerga forces are fighting ISIS, and they advanced. They captured most of areas that were captured by ISIS last year. So they gained more advanced areas, and they are still advancing and clearing the areas under the control of ISIS.
All right. Now, one theory is that the Iraqi army will hold Ramadi and then move north. That the next battle is the fight for Mosul. That the Iraqi army is going to try to take back Mosul. But that's in the northern area. That's in the Kurdish region. Will the Kurdish Peshmerga fight with the Iraqi army to retake Mosul?
Yes, Kurdish forces, they promised, they acknowledge that they will participate in Mosul battle, but same time, there are some tensions between Iraqi army, Kurdish Peshmergas over the military equipment, the weapons, because Kurdish officials they accuse Iraqi army and Iraqi government for not supplying Kurdish Peshmerga with weapons. So that's why there are not a great coordination between Peshmerga and Iraqi army. But I think the battle for Mosul and capturing Mosul is not a piece of cake for Iraqi army, and it will take its time, and it's not easy at all.
You mentioned the Peshmerga. We've talked about Shia militias before on this show. To what extent do you think Iraq is going to ever again be a Iraq that has Kurds in the north, Sunnis in the center, and Shiites? Will it ever be a unified country again?
No, in my opinion, Iraq is indeed now, it's not a unified entity. Iraq is a failure state. It was a failure, it was a fabricated state. It was, fabricated after World War I, and there is no common ground between, the nations, the communities living in Iraq. There is no common ground interests between Kurds and Shia and Sunnis. So that's why the Kurds are moving forward to set up a referendum for independence, and there are some preparation to going to that direction.
Well, if the Kurds try to set up a Kurdistan, does the Iraq government, does the Baghdad government let that happen?
Of course not. We know there are obstacles, there are problems with Iraq, and especially Iraqi government, as we know, is Shia dominated and is under the control of Iran. But there are no other options left for Iraqi people to decide and to live within one country. Yes, Iraq is now, it's one country, is in the map, there is boundaries, but officially and practically, Iraq is not one country, is not a unified entity.
This story will go on, and it will probably be a big story in 2016. What about Kurdistan? What about the Peshmerga? So thank you so much for joining us to add some perspective. That's Noreldin Wisy.
Thank you for having me.
Check out foxnews.com for more on this developing story. I'm KT McFarland, and thanks for watching DEFCON 3.